It was supposed to be another peaceful day on the remote human colony of New Horizons. Located on the edge of Earth's domain, this small colony had been slowly flourishing, humans working together in harmony, farming, building, and advancing. But the tranquility of this distant outpost was shattered without warning. In the sky above the colony, the first sign of something unusual appeared, a strange ripple in the atmosphere. At first, it seemed like a minor glitch, a weather anomaly. But then it intensified. Suddenly, the sky darkened as massive metallic shapes descended rapidly toward the planet's surface. Robotic drones, thousands of them, cloaked in the advanced technology of their alien creators, crashed through the clouds with terrifying speed. They weren't just ships. They were weapons, sleek, silver machines bristling with destructive power. The human settlers barely had time to react as the first explosions rang out. Buildings disintegrated in a shower of fire and metal as laser beams cut through the air with deadly precision. The once quiet, peaceful colony was now engulfed in chaos. The screams of humans echoed through the streets, and the panic set in. The drones, equipped with cloaking devices and AI-driven targeting systems, moved with deadly efficiency. They hacked into the colony's defense grid, turning Earth's advanced technology against them. The colony's automated defenses, systems meant to protect humanity, fell one by one, helpless against the alien machine's superior tech. The ground shook with every blast, every bomb dropped from the drone's cargo base. The humans had underestimated their enemies. They had never imagined that the peaceful world they had built could be torn apart so quickly, so brutally. But that was exactly what happened. Among the chaos, a young boy, Liam, barely 10 years old, ran through the streets. His father, Commander John Harris, the leader of the colony, had been coordinating efforts to repel the attackers. But the battle was already lost. Liam had always idolized his father, a man known for his courage and leadership. He had promised his son that nothing could ever hurt them, that Earth's colonies were protected by the strongest defenses known to humankind. But now, all that promise was unraveling before Liam's eyes. As Liam tried to escape the carnage, a drone targeted him. It swooped down from the sky, its cold red eyes locking onto him with terrifying precision. The boy froze in fear, but there was nowhere to run. In a flash, the drone's robotic arms grabbed him. The humans tried to fight back, but it was too late. The drone's AI systems moved faster than any human could react. Commander John Harris watched in horror from a distance as his son was taken by the alien forces. The battle was already lost, and he knew that there was nothing he could do to save Liam. With a heart-rending cry, he rushed forward, but the drone carried the child out of his reach. The boy's small body was lifted high into the air, disappearing into the chaos. Hours later, the message came through. The aliens, having wiped out the colony's defenses and killed countless civilians, sent a chilling communique to Earth's leadership. The message was simple, cold, and utterly terrifying. The humans are weak. Your children will be our first targets. The leaders of Earth's United Federation received the transmission in stunned silence. Earth had long considered itself a force to be reckoned with in the galaxy. Its technologies, military might, and alliances were unmatched. But now, the idea that an alien species could so effortlessly destroy a human colony, one of their own, was too much to bear. This was no longer about territory or resources. This was personal. This was a declaration of war, not just against Earth, but against humanity itself. As the message from the alien commander, General Vrax, came in, it was clear that the threat was not over. His voice, cold and calculating, filled the communication channels. His words sent a shiver down the spine of every human who heard them. You are nothing. Your kind will bow or perish. The Earth's leaders gathered in an emergency session. Their anger was palpable, but so was their fear. For the first time, the human race faced an enemy unlike any they had ever encountered. The power and technology of the alien forces far surpassed anything humanity had developed. Earth's greatest minds and strongest leaders were in shock, struggling to find a way to fight back. Yet beneath that shock was something else, something powerful, primal: vengeance. The death of Liam Harris, the innocent child, the loss of a family, the annihilation of an entire colony, had ignited a fire in the hearts of humans everywhere. It wasn't just a fight for survival anymore. It was a fight for justice, for retribution. They would make the aliens pay for what they had done, no matter the cost. The Earth's military, though severely crippled by the surprise attack, began to mobilize in full force. General Vrax and his fleet may have thought they had broken humanity's spirit, but they had only fueled it. The United Earth Federation, UEF, began working on a plan to retaliate, one that would send a message across the galaxy. Humanity had been knocked down, but they were far from defeated. The alien invaders may have had the upper hand for now, but the world of Earth was about to change. The fire that had been ignited by Liam's death was only growing stronger. And in the darkness of space, something else stirred. The shadows of humanity's last hope. The clock was ticking. The battle for survival was about to begin. The alien forces had made a fatal mistake. They had underestimated the heart of humanity. This was no longer just a war. This was vengeance. The Earth had been rocked to its very core. The sudden, brutal attack on the remote colony, the loss of a child, and the chilling message from General Vrax had stirred something deep within humanity. The sense of invincibility that Earth once held was now shattered. But in that same darkness, something else was rising. A fierce, undying will to survive. The United Earth Federation, UEF, the military and governing body of humanity's armed forces, knew that retaliation was not just a matter of vengeance. It was a matter of survival. The alien species that had attacked them were unlike any adversary the UEF had ever faced. They had advanced technologies, superior AI systems, and cloaking devices that made their war machines nearly invisible. Humanity's defenses, while formidable, were no match for such technological superiority. But that didn't mean they were done fighting. Captain Amelia Harris, the daughter of Commander John Harris, stood before the council of the UEF. Her heart still ached from the loss of her younger brother, Liam, who had been taken by the alien invaders in the brutal attack on New Horizons. The pain was almost unbearable, a constant weight on her shoulders. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw Liam's terrified face. She heard the screams of the settlers, the explosion of buildings, and the crash of drones tearing through the skies. The images haunted her, but Amelia knew one thing for certain. The aliens had made a grave mistake. They had hurt her family, her people, and they would pay for it. As captain, Amelia had seen battle after battle, but this felt different. It wasn't just another mission. This was personal. The destruction of New Horizons, the brutal murder of innocent humans, and the callousness of the alien attack had turned her grief into something more. It had turned into an unrelenting hunger for justice. The UEF's commanders recognized this pain, and they knew that Amelia was the one who would lead them in this fight. Her emotional connection to the loss of Liam would fuel her determination and drive. But Captain Amelia wasn't the only one struggling with the weight of loss. Many of the soldiers under her command had lost loved ones in the attack. The UEF's ranks were filled with men and women who had experienced firsthand the wrath of the alien invaders. The entire human race, united in grief, was now united in resolve. They would do whatever it took to strike back, no matter how outgunned they were. The UEF's retaliation plan was risky. Earth had the will to fight, but it lacked the superior technology that the aliens possessed. The advanced cloaking systems and AI-driven war machines of the alien invaders were far beyond anything humanity had developed. Even with Earth's most advanced military ships, they would be at a disadvantage. The aliens were prepared for war, and they wouldn't hesitate to crush any resistance. But Amelia and her team knew they had something the aliens didn't: the element of surprise. The UEF had begun to develop their own form of stealth technology, though it was still in its early stages. It wasn't as advanced as the aliens' cloaking systems, but it would be enough to allow the warships to slip past the alien defenses without being detected. The UEF's fleet was preparing in secret, keeping their movements hidden from alien surveillance. But time was running out. The aliens would not wait forever, and the humans knew their only chance was to strike quickly and decisively. As Amelia stood in the command room, the final preparations for the fleet's departure were underway. Her mind raced. They were about to enter enemy territory, a territory that had been prepared for them by the alien invaders. The UEF ships had been carefully outfitted with stealth capabilities, but they would still be vulnerable. One mistake could mean disaster. Every officer on board understood that. Amelia looked out the window of the command center, where the fleet was being readied for its mission. A fleet of advanced warships, sleek and silent, lined up in rows. These were the ships that would carry humanity's last hope to the very heart of alien space. She could feel the weight of responsibility on her shoulders, but she also knew this was their only chance. They had to act now, or they would never have another opportunity to strike back. The tension was palpable as the countdown began. Amelia's heart raced as the massive engines of the warships roared to life, their thrusters glowing as they prepared for launch. The silent hum of the ship's engines filled the command center, and the crew moved with precision and purpose. The ships were stealthy, but their size and power were undeniable. Amelia knew that once they entered alien space, they would be vulnerable. But they couldn't hesitate. Not now. Not after everything that had happened. Captain Harris, a voice crackled over the intercom. It was Lieutenant Daniels, her second in command. We're ready to move. The fleet is in position. Amelia took a deep breath and turned to face her crew. They were all ready, eager, and driven by the same hunger for revenge and justice. The mission was simple: infiltrate the alien territory, destroy key installations, and send a clear message that Earth would not be intimidated. "This is it," Amelia said, her voice steady, but with a trace of emotion beneath. "We're doing this for Liam. For all the lives lost. We fight for humanity. We fight for survival. And we will not stop until we've made them pay." The fleet moved silently through the dark expanse of space, their stealth systems keeping them hidden from the alien surveillance. The warships navigated through asteroid fields and debris, using the natural cover of space to stay off the radar. The tension was unbearable, as the crew knew the first sign of detection could be their last. Every sensor was tuned to the maximum. Every officer kept their eyes on the screens, waiting for any sign of an alien patrol. The first phase of their mission was a success. They had reached the outer edge of alien space without detection. But now, the real danger awaited them. As the UEF fleet entered deeper into enemy territory, the suspense mounted. The closer they got to the alien strongholds, the more dangerous their mission became. No one knew how the aliens would respond when they realized Earth was retaliating. Would they be ready for a fight? Would they launch a counterattack? Or would they dismiss the humans as an insignificant threat? As Amelia stood at the helm, her eyes fixed on the vast expanse of space ahead, she could feel it. The calm before the storm. The moment of truth was approaching. The humans were about to challenge their oppressors, and no one could predict what the consequences would be. But one thing was certain: humanity's revenge was about to begin, and it would be swift. The silence of space was broken as the UEF warships emerged from their cloaking devices, the shimmering veil of invisibility fading into the void. The alien mothership loomed ahead, massive and menacing, its sleek, metallic surface reflecting the distant stars. The moment of truth had arrived. Amelia's heart pounded in her chest as she stood at the helm of the lead ship, her fingers gripping the console with determination. This was their chance, the first strike in their war for survival. The fleet moved as one, each ship synchronizing its movements with perfect precision. Every officer aboard knew their role, Every soldier was prepared for the fight that lay ahead. The ships surged forward, engines firing as they closed the distance to the alien vessel. The element of surprise was their greatest weapon, but they knew it wouldn't last long. The aliens would soon detect their presence and retaliate. "All systems online, Captain," Lieutenant Daniels reported, his voice calm but filled with a sense of urgency. "Cloaking devices are functioning at full capacity. We're still undetected." Amelia nodded, her eyes locked on the looming mothership. "Prepare to strike. We hit hard and fast. No hesitation." The fleet continued to close in, the massive alien vessel now within range. Amelia's thoughts raced, but she pushed them aside. There was no room for doubt. For Liam, for Earth, she gave the order, her voice unwavering. "Fire." In an instant, the warships unleashed their fury. Laser cannons lit up the darkness of space, sending streams of fiery energy toward the alien ship. The first volley of shots connected with the hull of the mothership, sending a shockwave through the void. The alien ship shuddered, but it quickly retaliated. A barrage of energy blasts shot out, narrowly missing the UEF ships as they swerved to avoid the incoming fire. The battle had begun. "Evasive maneuvers," Amelia barked, her voice cutting through the chaos. The warships weaved and dodged, narrowly avoiding enemy fire. The AI-driven drones, which had been launched from the alien vessel, swarmed toward the UEF fleet, their sleek forms darting through the stars with deadly precision. The drones were fast, but the human ships were faster, using their cloaking technology to stay one step ahead. Yet the drones were relentless, and the UEF fleet was being pushed to the edge. Amelia's eyes burned with a fierce determination as she watched the battle unfold. The warship's cannons fired again, this time targeting the alien ship's engines. The explosion was deafening, a brilliant flare of light that temporarily blinded the ship's sensors. The alien mothership rocked violently, but it wasn't defeated yet. The aliens were not going to give up without a fight. As the battle raged on, Amelia's heart twisted with the weight of the cause. This wasn't just about strategy. This was personal. The death of her brother, the destruction of their colony, these memories fueled her every move. She couldn't let them win. She couldn't let her people suffer any longer. "For Liam," Amelia shouted over the comms, rallying her crew. The soldiers on board her ship echoed the words, their voices filled with emotion. The captain had always been their inspiration, but now, with the weight of her loss driving her, they were more determined than ever. For Earth, the UEF ships unleashed another volley of fire, hitting the alien ship shields and causing them to flicker. The explosions that followed lit up the battlefield, sending chunks of debris into space. The alien mothership had taken a hit, but it was still operational, its weapons continuing to fire at the humans. The sky above them was filled with flashes of light as the two forces collided in a brutal dance of death. But the UEF warships were not done yet. Their resilience and ingenuity shone through as they pressed the attack. The alien drones continued to swarm, but now the UEF had adapted. The warships launched countermeasures, EMP blasts that fried the drone systems, causing many to shut down mid-flight. But the aliens had anticipated this and retaliated with even more firepower. The UEF ships now found themselves in a deadly game of cat and mouse, their cloaking devices providing only a brief advantage. "Incoming," Lieutenant Daniels shouted as an alien drone locked onto their ship. The warning came too late. A missile struck the ship's side, sending it spinning out of control. The crew scrambled to regain control, but the damage was done. "We've lost power in the starboard engine," the lieutenant reported. "We're going to drift." Amelia's grip tightened on the console, her mind racing. They couldn't afford to lose any more ships, not now. The first strike was supposed to be decisive, but the enemy was relentless. The UEF ships were strong, but they weren't invincible. Every strike from the alien vessels sent a shudder through the fleet, and Amelia knew they had to act quickly before their advantage slipped away. "Deploy all boarding teams," she commanded, her voice steely with determination. She wasn't going to let the aliens destroy them without a fight. The soldiers aboard the UEF ships suited up in their specialized space combat gear, preparing for close-quarters combat. They would board the alien ships, take the fight to the enemy's doorstep. The humans were about to face the alien threat in zero gravity. The first boarding team deployed, their suits flashing as they prepared to breach the alien ship. Inside, the air was thick with tension. Soldiers moved quickly, their weapons raised as they moved through the alien corridors. They had no idea what to expect, but they knew one thing for certain. The aliens had taken something precious from them, and they would stop at nothing to take it back. The battle raged on, both in space and on the alien ship's deck. Close-quarters combat erupted as UEF soldiers clashed with the alien forces, fighting in the zero-gravity corridors. Weapons fired, alien soldiers screamed in their guttural language, and the soldiers from Earth fought with everything they had. They were outmatched, but they fought with the heart of a species that had nowhere else to go. Amelia's face was a mask of determination as she watched the chaos unfold. Her people were fighting, not just for victory, but for their very survival. The first strike had come, and they had not backed down. The alien mothership was damaged, but it wasn't over yet. The battle would continue, but humanity had proven that they would not go down without a fight. In the chaos of the battle, a single thought echoed through Amelia's mind. For Liam, for Earth, we will win this war. The battle was taking its toll. The UEF soldiers fought with every ounce of their strength, but the cost was heavy. Ships were being lost, and soldiers were falling at an alarming rate. The UEF had no choice but to keep pushing forward. In the heat of battle, Captain Amelia Harris stood tall, her leadership unshaken despite the overwhelming odds. Every soldier aboard the fleet had heard the stories of her bravery, but now they saw it firsthand. She was not just a commander. She was a symbol of humanity's unyielding will to survive. The sound of blaring alarms filled the warships as more drones launched from the alien mothership. Each wave seemed fiercer than the last. Yet, Amelia remained calm, her strategic mind always focused on the next move. She had no choice but to keep her people alive, even if it meant sacrificing everything. But then, amidst the chaos, there was a breakthrough. The UEF had managed to capture a damaged alien drone, and their engineers worked quickly to decipher its tech. The discovery sent shockwaves through the command center. The aliens' cloaking technology, the very device that had given them an advantage, had a vulnerability. There was a weak point, an exposed energy core deep within the ship's systems that, if targeted, could disable the cloaking devices. It was the key to turning the tide in their favor, but the mission to destroy it would be incredibly dangerous. Amelia didn't hesitate. She had to act quickly, or the aliens would regroup and counterattack with even more devastating force. She gathered a small team of elite soldiers, each one ready to make the ultimate sacrifice. They would infiltrate the alien mothership, penetrate its defenses, and destroy the cloaking technology, even if it meant facing certain death. The soldiers knew the risks. As they gathered in the briefing room, the mood was somber. Faces that had once been full of confidence were now etched with the understanding that this mission would be a one-way trip for many of them. Yet there was no fear, only resolve. They were fighting for a cause greater than themselves, humanity's future. Among the soldiers was Bonner, a man who had been with the UEF from the beginning. He was tough, a warrior who had seen countless battles, but he wasn't just a soldier. He had a family waiting for him back on Earth, a reason to survive. Yet he knew that if they failed this mission, there would be no future for his family to return to. If anyone's going to make it out alive, it's going to be you, Captain, Bonner said quietly as he prepared for the mission. But we're in this together. His words were a reminder to everyone in the room that no matter how dire the situation seemed, they weren't alone. As the team suited up for the mission, Amelia took a deep breath. This was the moment that could change everything. If they succeeded, It could lead to the defeat of the alien fleet. If they failed, it would be the end of humanity. There was no room for failure. The team boarded the shuttle, which made its way toward the alien mothership, cloaked by the remaining ships of the UEF fleet. As they approached the massive vessel, the reality of the situation set in. The mothership was a fortress, a maze of deadly corridors and powerful defenses, but they had one advantage: the element of surprise. Amelia's heart raced as the shuttle docked with the mothership. They had to move quickly. The team disembarked, weapons raised, and made their way through the cold, metallic halls of the alien ship. The walls were silent, but every step they took seemed to echo louder and louder in their ears. They knew they were being hunted. The aliens would be aware of their presence soon. As they advanced deeper into the heart of the mothership, the team encountered alien soldiers. A firefight erupted, with plasma weapons lighting up the dark corridors. The sound of gunfire was deafening as the soldiers fought back, pushing forward with relentless determination. But they were outnumbered, and the aliens' weapons were far more advanced. "We can't stop here," Amelia shouted, urging her team to press on. They were getting closer to the core, but the alien forces were closing in. It was now or never. As the team neared the core of the mothership, they encountered even more resistance. Alien drones patrolled the halls, and alien soldiers ambushed them from all sides. Bonner, ever the protector, fought fiercely, covering his teammates as they advanced. His experience in battle was evident as he picked off the alien soldiers with deadly accuracy. But as they reached the control room, the unthinkable happened. Bonner was hit. The shot came from an alien drone that had been lying in wait. The blast threw him to the ground, and the team quickly gathered around him. Amelia felt her heart stop for a moment as she saw the blood spilling from his side. This wasn't supposed to happen. Bonner was supposed to survive. He had a family. Bonner, gasping for breath, smiled weakly. "Tell my wife I fought for Earth. Tell her I'm proud of her." His words were filled with love, and a tear escaped from Amelia's eye as she nodded. She wasn't ready to let him go. She couldn't lose him too. But Bonner's sacrifice wasn't in vain. He held the line long enough for the rest of the team to reach the core and plant the explosives. The cloaking technology was now vulnerable, and with one final act of heroism, Amelia detonated the charges, sending a shockwave through the mothership. The cloaking devices went offline, and the UEF ships could now see the enemy clearly. The team made their way back to the shuttle, the weight of Bonner's death heavy on their hearts. His sacrifice had given them the chance to turn the tide of the battle. As they escaped the mothership, the explosion behind them was a sign of victory and loss. The battle was far from over, but they had struck a blow to the aliens that could not be undone. Amelia looked down at the photograph of Bonner and his family, which he had kept in his pocket. She knew what she had to do. This war was no longer just about survival. It was about honoring the sacrifices of those who had given everything for the future of humanity. They would fight, and they would win, for Bonner and for everyone else who had fallen. As the shuttle flew back toward the UDF fleet, Amelia made a vow. "We will make them pay. For Bonner. For Earth." The aftermath of the battle was devastating. Earth had emerged victorious, but the cost was unimaginable. The skies, once filled with the sight of humanity's fleet, now seemed quiet, eerily still in the wake of the massive conflict. The alien empire had been broken, but at a price that could never be measured in mere numbers. The death toll was staggering, and many of Earth's finest soldiers, including Captain Amelia Harris, had paid the ultimate price for victory. Amelia had led humanity's final assault against the alien mothership. She had made a sacrifice so great that even the brave warriors under her command had struggled to comprehend the depth of it. Her decision to detonate the EMP inside the heart of the alien flagship had turned the tide of the war, disabling the advanced alien technology and allowing humanity's forces to strike a decisive blow. But that sacrifice, that final act of heroism, had cost her life. As the UEF fleet returned to Earth, There was no great celebration, no fireworks or parades, just a somber, heavy silence. Soldiers, both human and alien, lay strewn across the battlefields, and the faces of the survivors were drawn, haunted by the memories of those they had lost. The Earth had won the war, but it had lost so much along the way. The galaxy had learned a hard lesson that day. Humanity was small in the vastness of space, but it was fierce, unyielding, and capable of extraordinary acts of courage and sacrifice. The alien empire, which had once thought humanity weak and easily subjugated, had been brought to its knees. And now, the message was clear: never again would humanity be underestimated. In the days following the victory, Earth began the painful process of healing. The survivors, the ones who had witnessed the horrors of the war firsthand, were left to pick up the pieces. A memorial was built for the fallen soldiers, a testament to their bravery and the sacrifices they had made for the future of the human race. It stood as a solemn reminder of what it meant to fight for something greater than oneself. At the heart of the memorial was a plaque bearing Captain Amelia Harris's name, and underneath it, her final words echoed in the minds of all who had fought beside her. "We may be small, but our hearts are mighty." Those words became the rallying cry of Earth's people. It was a phrase that would be passed down for generations, a symbol of humanity's indomitable spirit. But even as Earth began to rebuild, the cost of victory weighed heavily on the survivors. Every corner of the planet seemed to hold the shadow of those who had fallen. Earth's leaders vowed to honor their memory, and the families of the fallen soldiers were given the support and care they needed to heal. But nothing could replace the loss. Nothing could bring back the soldiers who had given their lives for a cause greater than themselves. It was supposed to be another peaceful day on the remote human colony of New Horizons. Located on the edge of Earth's domain, this small colony had been slowly flourishing, humans working together in harmony, farming, building, and advancing. But the tranquility of this distant outpost was shattered without warning. In the sky above the colony, the first sign of something unusual appeared, a strange ripple in the atmosphere. At first, it seemed like a minor glitch, a weather anomaly, but then it intensified. Suddenly, the sky darkened as massive metallic shapes descended rapidly toward the planet's surface. Robotic drones, thousands of them, cloaked in the advanced technology of their alien creators, crashed through the clouds with terrifying speed. They weren't just ships. They were weapons, sleek, silver machines bristling with destructive power. The human settlers barely had time to react as the first explosions rang out. Buildings disintegrated in a shower of fire and metal as laser beams cut through the air with deadly precision. The once quiet, peaceful colony was now engulfed in chaos. The screams of humans echoed through the streets, and the panic set in. The drones, equipped with cloaking devices and AI-driven targeting systems, moved with deadly efficiency. They hacked into the colony's defense grid, turning Earth's advanced technology against them. The colony's automated defenses, systems meant to protect humanity, fell one by one, helpless against the alien machine's superior tech. The ground shook with every blast, every bomb dropped from the drone's cargo bays. The humans had underestimated their enemies. They had never imagined that the peaceful world they had built could be torn apart so quickly, so brutally. But that was exactly what happened. Among the chaos, a young boy, Liam, barely 10 years old, ran through the streets. His father, Commander John Harris, the leader of the colony, had been coordinating efforts to repel the attackers, but the battle was already lost. Liam had always idolized his father, a man known for his courage and leadership. He had promised his son that nothing could ever hurt them, that Earth's colonies were protected by the strongest defenses known to humankind. But now, all that promise was unraveling before Liam's eyes. As Liam tried to escape the carnage, a drone targeted him. It swooped down from the sky, its cold red eyes locking onto him with terrifying precision. The boy froze in fear, but there was nowhere to run. In a flash, the drone's robotic arms grabbed him. The humans tried to fight back, but it was too late. The drone's AI systems moved faster than any human could react. Commander John Harris watched in horror from a distance as his son was taken by the alien forces. The battle was already lost, and he knew that there was nothing he could do to save Liam. With a heart-rending cry, he rushed forward, but the drone carried the child out of his reach. The boy's small body was lifted high into the air, disappearing into the chaos. Hours later, the message came through. The aliens, having wiped out the colony's defenses and killed countless civilians, sent a chilling communique to Earth's leadership. The message was simple, cold, and utterly terrifying. The humans are weak. Your children will be our first targets. The leaders of Earth's United Federation received the transmission in stunned silence. Earth had long considered itself a force to be reckoned with in the galaxy. Its technologies, military might, and alliances were unmatched. But now, the idea that an alien species could so effortlessly destroy a human colony, one of their own, was too much to bear. This was no longer about territory or resources. This was personal. This was a declaration of war, not just against Earth, but against humanity itself. As the message from the alien commander, General Vrax, came in, it was clear that the threat was not over. His voice, cold and calculating, filled the communication channels. His words sent a shiver down the spine of every human who heard them. You are nothing. Your kind will bow or perish. The Earth's leaders gathered in an emergency session. Their anger was palpable, but so was their fear. For the first time, the human race faced an enemy unlike any they had ever encountered. The power and technology of the alien forces far surpassed anything humanity had developed. Earth's greatest minds and strongest leaders were in shock, struggling to find a way to fight back. Yet beneath that shock was something else, something powerful, primal: vengeance. The death of Liam Harris, the innocent child, the loss of a family, the annihilation of an entire colony, had ignited a fire in the hearts of humans everywhere. It wasn't just a fight for survival anymore. It was a fight for justice, for retribution. They would make the aliens pay for what they had done, no matter the cost. Yet, amid the sorrow, there was hope. Humanity had proven that it could stand tall, even in the face of the most insurmountable odds. The alien empire, once so powerful and cruel, was no more. The galaxy would now remember Earth not as a vulnerable, insignificant world, but as a force to be reckoned with, a force that would fight for the innocent, for justice, and for the future. As the survivors looked to the stars, they knew that the battle for survival was far from over. The galaxy was vast, and there were always threats lurking in the unknown reaches of space. But humanity had learned from its struggles. It had learned that strength was not just about advanced technology or superior firepower. Strength came from the heart, the courage to stand up, even when it seemed impossible. The strength to protect those who couldn't protect themselves. The strength to fight for a future, no matter the cost. The final scene was quiet but powerful. A massive fleet of Earth's warships, battered and scarred from the war, but still standing strong, lingered in space, waiting for the next challenge. They were a symbol of humanity's resilience, of its refusal to back down in the face of overwhelming odds. The ships didn't turn away from the stars. They sailed forward, ready for whatever came next. And as the camera pulled back, the memorial on Earth stood tall, a silent reminder of all that had been lost and all that had been gained. Humanity had endured. Humanity had triumphed. And humanity would never forget the cost of that victory. As the screen began to fade, the final image was that of Earth's fleet, silhouetted against the stars. The galaxy was vast, and the journey ahead was uncertain, but humanity was ready. The fight for justice, for peace, for the future, would never end. No matter what the universe threw at them, humanity would always rise, and in the hearts of every soldier who had fought, in the minds of every leader who had made tough decisions, in the spirits of the fallen heroes, one thing was clear: Earth had earned its place in the galaxy, and it would never back down. The story of humanity had only just begun.